Members of Parliament this evening waved the white flag as they voted to surrender the Chagos Islands to Mauritius. This, of course, comes as fresh analysis shows the cost of the deal to the British taxpayer could be tens of billions more than the government has claimed. 47 billion if you add it all up over the period of the lease. At the very same time, the African Union has issued fresh demands for billions of pounds in reparations for supposed historic crimes. What signal does this capitulation, born of post-colonial guilt, send to the wider world? Well, I'm delighted now to be joined by the Conservative MP for Romford, Andrew Rosindell, and still with me, the political commentator, Matthew Stadlen. Andrew, you've actually been to the Chagos Islands, so you know what they're like. What link do they have to Mauritius?
Nothing. Nothing at all. All that happened is that many years ago, they were administered as part of the same colonial authority, which included Mauritius. The Chagossians are not Mauritian. They have their own identity, they have their own culture, their own language. So it's completely and utterly false to suggest that Mauritius has a legitimate claim over those islands.
Why don't they have a right to their own self-determination? Because Chagos is, what, 1,000 miles from Mauritius?
Oh, yes,
or more.
roughly
Yeah.
so, yes. So it's a good question. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, all former British colonies have been or should be given independence, self-determination, the right to make their own decisions. And that's what we've done with all of them, except, for some reason, the Chagos Islands. And all governments have denied them that right. But what's really shocking about today is that we've not only treated them very badly in the past, in depopulating the islands and removing them from their homeland, and I've been to their homeland, I've seen where they used to live, the graves of their ancestors, the chapels, the schools, everything. It's terribly sad to think those people were forced out of their homes, unfairly in my view. But what's terrible about today is that we've compounded that. We've not only not put right the wrong that was done in the 60s and 70s, we've now said to them, well, we're not interested in your views today. We don't care about what you think. We're now going to give your homeland away to a foreign country, and we're paying billions of pounds for doing so. The whole thing is a disgrace.
Matthew, the red flag's become the white flag, hasn't it? Why is the government doing this? The court judgment was not binding. Indeed, our accession to that court specifically said it could not rule on matters between the UK and Commonwealth or former Commonwealth countries. What has made Labour cause this row, cause this expense when money is tight for Chagos, which isn't Mauritius?
I think you'd probably best be asking your former colleagues in the Conservative government. And one of the most extraordinary spectacles of recent times is members of former Tory governments being critical of policies that their governments were behind and supportive of.
Matthew, that's both fair and unfair, that yes, it started with a Conservative Foreign Secretary, but David Cameron had the wit to stop it, and it was then revived by David Lammy. Is the firing of David Lammy, demotion of David Lammy, humiliation of David Lammy, an opportunity to stop this? Does Yvette Cooper have the backbone to stop it?
On the substance of it, let's look at the Chagossians first of all. If they are united in their desire for this deal not to go ahead, and I may be wrong about this, but my loose understanding is that there is some divergence of opinion within that community. But if they were united, then of course this should not be done.
They should have the right of self-determination.
I would have thought so, and I would have expected former Conservative government as well as this government to take that on board. So there are different issues here. The £47 billion figure, I think you would agree, is a bogus figure.
I do agree. It's actually 4.1 billion if you discount it back.
So the £47 billion is sort of clickbait and unhelpful. On the question of national defence, and of course this should be done in coordination with the legitimate rights of the Chagossian people. But as I understand it, both the Conservative government and now a Labour government think it is in our national interest to do this deal. I mean, Keir Starmer, whatever else you may think of him, he's not a masochist.
No, that's right.
He's not trying to... The idea that he's acting, as many suggest on the right, deliberately against our country's interests is outrageous. The view was, supported by Trump, by the way, a few months ago. Do you remember when he went... I was sitting in this very studio when Starmer was in the White House. The view was that this was a sensible way forward when it came to national defence.
Why won't might Labour explain why it is in our interest? Because governments can't any longer get away with, trust me, we're the government.
My understanding of that, to answer that point, is that were this to become a binding judgment, then we would be we would be in breach of international law.
But it wasn't a binding judgment.
No, were it to become one, there was a concern, as I understand it, by this government and perhaps by a previous Conservative government, that it might be, and we couldn't afford that situation, because then we would be in the position where our national interests of defence would come up against the roadblock of international law.
But it's not international law. It's a non-binding judgment by court that we could pull out of by giving it the
This was shown up today by the former Attorney General, who outlined it in a forensic way to show exactly that there is no way that this could be binding on the United Kingdom. The fact is, our government haven't challenged it. They've just gone along with it. They've capitulated. They have, as Jacob said, they've raised the white flag. And what I think is really bad is that the people of the Chagos Islands, and they used to live there, they were depopulated. They could go back. We should be helping them go back to their homeland, but instead we're giving it away. Right. That's a shameful thing to do.
If they want to do that, then I support them in it.
Thank you very much indeed.